let's start by folding our paper in half one way, very gently, and then folding it in half the other way, very gently. This is going to help us to draw 4 evenly sized boxes. The real name for these boxes is a panel. A panel shows a moment in time in your comic. So this first box is going to be a cover, or like where the title is shown. So I'm going to start from my story plan on box 1. I'm actually going to start, so here's my story plan with box 1, where Super Sloth is sleeping on the branch. I'm actually going to start drawing that in this box right here. So what I will do is I'm going to start out by using very light pressure with my pencil, so you can barely see the oval that I'm drawing. And as I did when I designed my character, I'm going to use simple shapes. So I'm going to do 2 ovals. I'm going to draw sort of a line to represent the branch. And in the beginning part, in the beginning stages of my drawing, I'm not putting a lot of details in yet. So I'm not doing any eyes or claws or anything like that. I'm just blocking the simple shapes to show where everything's going to be. Okay, so now I have the simple shapes drawn in, including some clouds and a sunshine in the background and another branch in the background. And now I'm going to use a little bit of a darker pencil pressure to go over some areas, and I'm also going to draw some of those details I talked about. So I'll draw the claws, I'll draw the eyes, I'll draw Super Sloth's cape. So because Super Sloth is sleeping here, he can't say anything. So I am going to draw a little box in this corner down here, and that's going to be my narration box. Oh, I'm going to draw some Z's to show that he's sleeping. So what is a narration box? Let me talk more about that. Narration box is just a little box that shows the narrator's word. So it's not a character talking, it's the narrator of the story talking. And then a speech bubble shows what the characters are saying. These are usually a circle with a little tail with some words inside it. We're going to talk a little bit more about speech bubbles later on. Now I'm going to write Super Sloth super snores in a tree. Okay, so I have my first panel all done. And so I'm going to draw my second 2 panels. So the second one's going to be where the person calls for help, or whoever from the jungle is calling for help. And Super Sloth can't do anything because he's too tired. And then in the third panel, he's going to fall back asleep. So I'm going to go and draw those, and I'll meet you back here when I'm all done. Okay, I'm back. So I have to draw in the speech bubbles now. Here are some different types of speech bubbles. So you can put spiky, jagged edges on your speech bubble to make it a scream bubble. You can have a thought bubble, which looks kind of like a cloud shape. You can have icicle bubbles, which usually show that someone is mad. Or you can use different colors on your speech bubbles to show a different emotion. So this panel has 2 speech bubbles. So one of them is Super Sloth just waking up for a second and saying, huh? So I'll draw a bubble and then a little tail directing towards Super Sloth so that we know that it's him who's talking. And then down at the bottom here, I'm going to do a scream bubble where it's going to be somebody calling for help. So I'm going to draw a circular shape, and then I'm going to start to add some of those spiky lines coming off. And I might have to overlap on top of some of the other things I've already drawn, and so I would have to erase those afterwards. So I really want to make it clear that this scream for help is coming from off the panel somewhere else, so that we can't see that person who's calling. So I'm going to draw a little tail going off the panel right there. And now all that's left is to just write my words as neatly as I can inside these bubbles.